Stay tuned about a crazy story from an emergency room near Sacramento. What's up, and welcome back to Security Guard Command. So I was talking to a nurse at work yesterday who holds a second job at another hospital, and she was telling me this story that happened. This is up near Sacramento area, and apparently a crazy, wild, deranged man walked into the emergency room carrying not one but two machetes, and he is acting in a menacing manner, and he ends up walking into not just the lobby, but walks past the lobby and into the actual emergency room. Now get this hospital, the emergency room lobby is not supposed to be accessible unless you are buzzed in. But security forgot to lock the door. They left it open. Secondly, the next set of doors is yet another safety feature where those are supposed to be locked as well, but security left them open. What security company is this? You guessed it, it's Allied. Sad, very sad. So this prompted me to kind of do a little searching on the web. I looked up Allied's website, and I just thought it was the most comical thing ever. Their slogans, their mantra, their whatever you want to call it, it's just a joke. It is the farthest thing from reality. They talk about securing people and property and keeping people safe, but yet they tout observe and report. We are only observe and report. And it's just ridiculous. It's like, how do you secure and protect people when all you do is observe and report? This nurse was talking to one of the guards and saying, yeah, we only observe and report. We're not allowed to do anything else. We're not allowed to go hands-on, blah, 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 and so the nurse says, I had a situation where, a guy was coming at me. He was making fists, and he started screaming at me, saying he was going to rape me, and he started swinging his arms at me. And the guard was standing there doing nothing. So what do you have to say about that? He goes, yeah, we're not allowed to do anything. It's just, so if he's actually raping me, you're going to stand there and watch? And the guard just stood there silent, had nothing to say about it. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. And we already know that Allied is a total wreck of a security company, if you can even call them security. Even on their own website, they talk about being a service company. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Be a contracted managed service provider, but stop saying that you do security, because you absolutely do not do security. And this is no way, in any way, bashing against the individual security guards, because I have met a few very good guards that work for Allied, and Allied absolutely does not deserve to have them on payroll. And I've told them that. I said, you need to work for another company that'll treat you better, that'll pay you better, and so there are good guards that work for Allied, but they have little to no impact on the overall reputation of this company. And it brought me to another thing. Something that not a lot of people are aware of, and this is the Medicare Act, and it basically is an act that was passed that states that Medicare-funded hospitals have a duty and a requirement to provide adequate safety and security not only to the patients but to the staff. And after looking at a lot of stories, a lot of things that happen. If you look at just statistics in hospitals and the violent things that happen in hospitals across the country are failing in acting on this duty, especially if these hospitals are contracting with companies like Allied Universal. These companies are extremely ineffective and will provide zero safety and security when it comes down to a violent subject attacking somebody. They're going to stand there and watch and then report what they see. That's it. Unless they're a halfway decent human being and they don't care about getting fired and having no protection from their company for acting. Because the minute they act and go outside of their company's SOPs or whatever you want to refer to them as, the company's going to cut them loose and throw them under the bus. They're going to cut all ties and they're going to claim no liability for the actions of this guard. And so that's why I tell these halfway decent guards that I meet, get out of this company. Go somewhere else to work. Don't stay with Allied because they do not have your back. And they will throw you under the bus to save their own skin. I looked at the list of on their website. They say there's a list of who we are or our people, something to that nature. And I looked at every single person. I read their brief bio. Not a single one of them had any security experience whatsoever. They're all corporate bureaucrats. That's all they are. They're just corporate bigwigs. That's all they do. They've got MBAs. They've got degrees in business, finance, what have you. But I want to know what experience they have with boots on the ground. That's what I want to know. And it's no wonder that Allied has such a horrible reputation. This article summarizes it pretty well. It says, Medicare certified hospitals have a regulatory obligation to care for patients in a safe setting under the Medicare Hospital Conditions of Participation Act. And this is a COPS at 482.13, Section C, subsection 2. The intention of this requirement is to specify that each patient receives care in an environment that a reasonable person would consider to be safe. For example, hospital staff should follow the current standards of practice for patient environment, safety, infection control, and security. The hospital must protect vulnerable patients, including newborns and children. Additionally, this standard is intended to provide protection for the patient's emotional health and safety, as well as her physical safety. Respect, dignity, and comfort would be the components of an emotionally safe environment. Now, every hospital has security. At least most of them that I've seen have security. And a lot of times they will go with a company like Allied because they are cheap. They are the lowest bidder. And these hospitals are basically, what they're doing is they are fulfilling their bare minimum obligation to get these regulatory agencies off their backs to fulfill the basic need. The problem is nobody's auditing what these security companies are doing or what they're capable of or what they're actually going to do. So they're not actually providing any sort of security or safety. It is all a facade. It is all just a show for the purpose of insurance and to meet basic regulatory requirements. But who's auditing these hospitals and these companies to see that they're actually fulfilling the most basic needs? None that I'm aware of. And so this is a huge problem. It is extremely dangerous to work at a hospital. Sean over at Security and Investigations Leadership Channel, link in the description, has mentioned this several times. He says he'll never work at a hospital again. And you know, I love my job. I have a passion for security and I have a passion for helping people. I feel that I am very effective in my job in providing safety and security. And I don't intend to leave anytime soon. But every day it does cross my mind at just how dangerous my job is. To top it off, we're not even allowed to wear a hidden vest under our uniform because apparently it looks too aggressive. Never mind the fact that you can hardly see it. It's too aggressive according to upper corporate management. And it's just ridiculous that, we as hospital security, at least my team, we put ourselves at risk every day. We stand on that thin line to protect patients and staff from violent aggressors. And we put ourselves there and we handle the situation according to our policies and procedures, which is way more than I can say for what Allied will do. This nurse that I was talking to said that, the security here at this hospital is 10 times, even 20 times better than the security at the Kaiser Hospital. And Kaiser contracts with Allied Universal. So is Kaiser are they really truly meeting the requirements of this act that supposedly requires that they provide safety and security to their patients and staff? In my honest personal opinion, I would say no, they're not meeting the requirement. On paper, it looks good, but it's all a facade, it's all fake. At the end of the day, that piece of paper is worthless. Actions speak louder than words. So this turned into a rant. I do feel very passionate about this. This is all strictly my opinion. It does not reflect the opinion or anything of my employer or anybody else. This is just how I feel about this situation. I take pride in my job, and I know that my fellow brothers and sisters that work with me in security at the place that I work feel very similarly. They take the job seriously, and all of them do a damn good job at what they do. And I am proud to work where I work. With that being said, guys, if you work hospital security, always follow your standard operating procedures, always follow your post orders. But at the end of the day, you have to make that decision to do the right thing and know what those consequences may be for doing the right thing. And it's really sad that we have to say that there's consequences for doing the right thing. But that's the world we live in. And until we really start to stand together and band together and unite, nothing will ever change. Have a great day, guys.